Okay, welcome back. My name is Chef Des. We're in the kitchen again. I'm going to teach you how to boil water and cook pasta, yes. But just the cooking the pasta part. So we're not even going to focus on the sauce today. And I'll go step by step here, and hopefully if you have a pen handy you can write this down. The first one's very, very basic. Always boil with the lid on the pot. It's going to come to a boil a lot faster. You're keeping the steam from escaping, the heat from escaping, so anytime you do that in a vessel and you contain the heat, it's going to come to a boil a lot faster. The next thing you want to remember is don't oil the water. Don't put oil in there. We get this misconception and we need to put oil in there to keep the pasta from sticking. And it's not your fault, don't worry about it. Don't do it, because what happens is, even after you go and drain it, there's a thin film of oil left on the pasta. So you're twirling up your fork and you're about to have a bite and the sauce is sliding off. You oil anything and things won't stick to it. We want that starchiness of the pasta so the sauce just grabs onto the pasta, and you twirl it up and you eat it. It's going to be fantastic because you're going to bring that sauce up to your mouth on the pasta. It's not going to slide off. Next thing we have to do is we have to salt the water. The reason why we salt the water, this is a strand of spaghetti, okay, uncooked. It needs to be cooked, right? And how much flavor does water have? Nothing, zero, right? So a lot of times people are making a great sauce, right? And they're tweaking it, and they're tasting it, and they go, oh, this sauce is going to be incredible. Does this ever happen to you? Then you bring it to the table, and you serve it with the pasta, which is bland because it's been boiled in water, right? And it's blanded out the whole sauce. And you're thinking, oh, gee, what happened? My sauce tasted great in the pan. Anytime you add something bland in a large quantity to something that's incredible, you're going to bland it out. So we need to salt the water so that when this absorbs water, it's not just absorbing water, it's absorbing seasoned water. So the pasta itself is going to be seasoned from the inside out. But this is what drives me crazy. When I see people making pasta, they'll go, okay, there we go, I salted the water. Oh my goodness, that's not going to do anything. You need to salt the water. We need to put salt in there. Look, woo! All right, we got salt in there. That's what we're looking for. And every time I do that at class, people are like, oh, how much salt did you put in there? Oh, I want to write this down. I don't know, because it's different every time. All I want you to do is just grab a spoon and taste it. Great. It should taste almost as salty as seawater. Now what happens is, and I know maybe some of you guys in the audience are like, you're grabbing at your heart thinking, oh my goodness, all that salt, I don't want that salt in my diet. Remember, when we go to drain it, there's still a ton of water in there, right? Most of that salt is going down the drain. Just because we put that much salt in there doesn't mean the pasta is just going to absorb all that salt, and when we pour the water down, it's just water left. But you need that kind of concentration in order for this strand of pasta to taste good. And then what's going to happen by that tasting good is it's going to then complement your sauce rather than take away from it. We're going to add the pasta to the pot now. We're just going to give it a quick little stir. Push it in. Now, because we didn't oil the pasta, you're probably thinking, how are we going to keep it from sticking, right? Stir it for the first 2 minutes. What happens is you're creating a physical agitation that's going to keep the pasta moving around in the pot. After 2 minutes, it's going to regain the boil, and then you just walk away. Okay? Don't completely walk away and leave your house or anything, right? But step away from it. You don't need to touch anymore, because you're going to have the boil back, and the agitation of the boiling water is going to keep the pasta moving around. And anytime it's moving around, it's not going to stick. When your pasta is done, now I normally cook linguine for 8 minutes, spaghetti for 7. You cook it the way you want. There's supposed to be al dente, a little resistance in the center. But if you don't like it that way, don't cook it that way. When you taste it, right, you want to see how it's done. A lot of people, this thing where you throw it against the ceiling or against the wall, if it sticks, it's done. Just taste it. Just grab a bit, blow on it a little bit so it's cool so you don't burn your mouth, and taste it. Right? You're going to be eating it. So that's your ideal way to tell if it's done. Put it in your mouth. Chew on it. Does it feel right to you? Yes. Great. You're done then. The last thing we need to do, okay, is don't rinse your pasta. What happens? 2 reasons why you shouldn't rinse it. Number 1, we talked about a little earlier about the starch, okay? You're going to wash away starch. We want the pasta to be starchy, so it's like, it just grabs onto the sauce. When you're twirling it up, it's going to lift the sauce with the pasta and into your mouth. Number 2, you're going to cool it down if you rinse it. You don't want to do that. You want to serve your meal piping hot. By the time you get the pasta out, put it with the sauce, get it to the table for your family, your friends, whoever, you don't want it to be cold. Lastly, make sure you take the pasta and you toss it with the sauce, okay? Again, it's starchy. What happens when you forget about pasta in the strainer? It becomes a solid mass, right? You need to introduce that pasta with the sauce, and it's gonna grab onto the sauce, right? Because it's starchy. You need to serve it together. Because if you serve it separately in separate bowls, the pasta is going to do exactly that. It's going to stick to each other. It's going to become a solid mass. So what do you end up doing? You end up oiling the pasta, right? To keep it from sticking. Well, you might as well have oiled it at the very beginning then, because oil, pasta, and sauce is going to slide off of it. Those are the basic 6 steps. If you want to count them, great. If you don't want to count them, that's great too. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.